and two companies, they'll decide to merge their business and they are forming a new limited or new company, for example the AB Limited. The two business who are doing this business in the same line of product, when two business combines their business, so that merger we call it as a horizontal merger. External liability here means that is the preference shares, debentures or loan or any kind of current liability, all that we will take it under external liability. Hello dear student, welcome to the session. My name is Kapamti, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So we are discussing Advanced Financial Management for 6th semester BCom. So fourth unit that we have, it is the mergers and acquisition. So there is a common practice that we can see in the corporate world or in the business world, it is the corporate restructuring. So that is the restructuring or making certain changes in the capital structure of a business or just expanding or the way of expanding their business. So there are a number of ways to do the capital restructuring. One, it is through the merging. So another, it is through the acquisitions or through the absorption or through the external reconstruction. So these are the different ways where the companies, they can go for restructuring their business. So here important that we have under your syllabus, it is the mergers and acquisition. So important calculations that we have here, it is how to calculate the PE ratio, that is price earning ratio, and the exchange ratio when a company, when they goes for taking over any business of other company, or when two companies, when they go for merging into one business, how to calculate these. So that is what we are going to study in this unit. So usually here from this unit, you will have 2 marks, 1 question and 10 marks, 1 question that you can expect from this unit. So the agenda for today's session here, we will discuss what is merger and acquisition in brief and what are the types of merger that are available, and then the PE ratio or the exchange ratio. What are the formulas that are used to calculate the PE ratio and the exchange ratio? So here introduction. So the restructuring of a business is an integral part of modern business enterprises. So the restructuring, it is one integral part and most commonly that we can see in the modern business world. So where we can see the number of business that merged into another business. For example, if we talk about the Maruti and Suzuki, they have merged and they formed it as the Maruti Suzuki India Limited. And also there is another company, or if we talk about the banking sector, the Bank of Baroda, for example, the Vijaya Bank, that is merged into the Bank of Baroda. So these are the different, the merger and acquisition that we can see it in the modern business or the modern time. So the restructuring usually involves the major organizational changes such as a shift in the corporate strategies. So whenever it is restructuring happens, so it is considered as one of the strategies. So that is to expand their business or to get the major market share. So one of the strategies that the business undertakes, it is the corporate restructuring. So the corporate restructuring means it is that can be employed to meet the challenges which confronts the business. Suppose if it is any business is facing a challenge to, for example, to get the wide market share, or if the business, if it is going on a low basis. So these are the one ways although they can take to overcome or to get out of those challenging times. So it is a process undertaken by a business for the purpose of bringing about changes for better and to make the business competitiveness. So here, corporate restructuring, it is one of the strategies that is used to bring certain changes in the business and also to gain that competitive advantage in the market. So next we'll see the merger and acquisition. One of the two important forms of capital restructuring that we have, it is the merger and acquisition. So here a merger is a deal to unite two existing companies into a one new company. For example, company A and there is company B, and two companies, they'll decide to merge their business and they are forming a new limited or new company, for example the AB Limited. So here the two existing companies, they'll combine their business and they'll form one new entity or a new business, so that we call it as a merger. So there are the several types of merger and also the several reasons why companies complete a merger. Merger and acquisitions are commonly done to expand your company's reach, expand into a new segment, and gain market share. One of the main drives for the merging or the companies when they go for the merging, it is to get a new market or the new segment or to expand your business. So when the two companies, they'll combine their business into one. So both the companies, whatever the market share they were having, so that will be combined into one, so that they can expand their business, they'll get the capital base. So these are the various reasons why the companies, they go for merging. So all of these are done to please the shareholders and create the values. So the ultimate result of all these strategies, it is to encourage the shareholders or to create the more values to the shareholders. Next, we have what are the types of merger that we have. So here, first one, it is the horizontal merger. So the horizontal merger takes place when two or more companies or the firms dealing in similar line of activities combines together. For example, merger of two publishers or the two luggage manufacturing companies. So that means horizontal merger happens when the two business who are doing this business in the same line of product, when two business combines their business, so that merger, we call it as a horizontal merger. Then vertical merger. This merger happens when two companies that have buyer-seller relationship or the potential buyer-seller relationship come together. So here, when two companies, where one it is considered as a buyer and another consider it as a seller, so when these two come as a together, so that we call it as a vertical merger. So the vertical merger is a combination of two or more firms involved in the different stages of production or the distribution. For example, joining a spinning company and a weaving company. So the vertical may be a forward or the backward merger. For example, here in the same textile, the business, one it is the company who is involved in the spinning activity or the spinning supplier, another the business who is involved in the weaving business. So when the combination of when the merging of these two firms happens, so that we call it as a vertical merger. Then we have conglomerate merger. Such merger involves firms engaged in unrelated type of business operation. So that means the business activities of acquire and the target are neither related to each other horizontally, that is producing the same or the competing product, now vertically having the relationship of buyer and the seller. So here conglomerate merger happens where the two entities, two are doing the different kind of business. So they'll come together to combine their business. So that we call it as a conglomerate merger. So here next we have congeneric merger. So in this merger, the acquirer and the target companies are related through the basic technologies or the production process or the market. So that means these here congeneric merger where the two business, they share the same manufacturing process or they share the same market basis or they share the same technologies. For example, the banking section. So the merging of these, the Vijaya Bank with the Bank of Baroda. So these are the type of merger that we call it as a congeneric merger. So they'll share the same kind of operations of the manufacturing, or they share same kind of the technology, or they share same kind of the markets. So that we call it as a congeneric merger. Next we have the reverse merger. In ordinary case, the company taken over is the smaller company, and in a reverse takeover, a smaller company gains the control of a larger one. So usually when we talk about the acquisition, that usually happens when a strong company, when they are going to acquire or they absorb the business of a relatively smaller company. So that we have a one type of merger. Under reverse merger, what happens? It is the reverse or the opposite the actions. So that means usually a weaker company, they'll try to take over the smaller company. So that we have it is the reverse merger. So the concept of takeover by reverse merger or the bit is thus not the usual case of amalgamation of a sick unit which is a non-viable with the healthy or the prosperous unit, but is a case where the entire undertaking of the healthy and the prosperous companies is to the merged and vested in the sick companies which is non-viable. So usually it is one of the rare conditions of the merging where if it is any sick or the or non-viable companies, the merger, it will not related to those type of the companies. Usually it will happen between the healthy and the prosperous companies that will be merged and vested with the one small or the non-viable companies. So this is the different types of merger that we can see it in the business. So next important that we have, it is the certain calculations. So that means when a business takes over the business of another company, or two companies when they combine or when they merge. So what are the certain calculations that we need to do? So here one, it is the price earning ratio calculation. So the price earning ratio, it is one valuation method or the tactic that is used to determine the value of a firm or the target company which is going to merge or which is going to acquired by any other firms on its earnings. So it shows how much an acquiring firm is willing to pay for each unit of earnings of the target firm. So that means usually there is two parties involved in case of merger or the acquisition. One, it is an acquiring company, and another one, it is a target company. So here the P ratio, it is the one ratio or the one technique that is used to measure the value of a target company. For example, there is a company A and company B, and A Limited is going to acquire the business of B. So the A becomes the acquirer and B becomes the target. So the P ratio, it will shows that what is the value of company B. That when the A is going to purchase that company, they need to know what is the value of the target company. So that with the calculation that we have, it is the price earning ratio. So the common formula that is used to calculate the P ratio, one, it is the formula that we have, the market price per share divided by earning per share. So the common formula that is used to calculate the PE ratio, it is your market price per share divided by earning per share. So this PE ratio we can calculate for both acquiring company as well as the target company. So usually you will use two terms. One, it is acquiring company, the company which is going to absorb or to take over the another business, and the target company, the business whose business is going to merge or the business who is going to take over. So that is the target company. So the PE ratio will calculate for both acquiring company and the target company. So the formula that we use to calculate PE ratio is the market price per share divided by EPS, that is earning per share. So how do we calculate EPS? Simple, your profit after tax. So your EPS or the earning per share calculation, profit after tax divided by number of shares. So always your number of shares means it is the number of equity share capital. So we will get the EPS. So this is the formula that we use to calculate the PE ratio. So then we have the important calculation, that is the exchange ratio. So when two companies are merged, for example, company A, the company B, the company A takes over the business of B. So that means the shareholders of B Limited, that will become the shareholder of A Limited. So that means acquiring company has to give the fresh set of shares to the B companies or the target company shareholders. On what basis that ratio will be or that shares will be issued? So for that reason, we have the calculation of exchange ratio. So the exchange ratio is the relative number of new set of equity shares that will be given to the existing shareholder of a company that has been merged or that has been taken over. So here in example, as I said, A and B, A it is if it is acquiring company and B it is a target company. So these target company shareholders, they are going to get the new set of shares. So that new set of shares or the issue of new set of shares, so the ratio that is used there, so that we call it as a exchange ratio. So we have mainly two methods or the two valuation methods that is used to find out the exchange ratio. So the method of calculation of exchange ratio, that is the valuation method. One main important method that we have, it is the based on net asset method. So the first valuation based on asset approach, that is net asset approach. So here, the net asset approach focuses on the valuation of the asset of both the target company and the acquiring company. So under the net asset approach, the exchange ratio will be calculated based on the asset value or the net asset value of both the company, that is acquiring company as well as the target companies. So we have the formula: exchange ratio is equal to net asset of target company divided by net asset of acquiring company. So we will take the net asset of target company and the net asset of acquiring company, we will get the exchange ratio. So here important, net asset means always, net asset here, it is your total asset, that is including fixed asset as well as your current asset minus external liability. So here external liability means apart from the equity shareholders fund, for example equity share capital or the profit and loss account or the general reserve or reserve fund or any kind of security premium. All these are the belongs to the equity shareholders. Apart from this, what are the liabilities or external liabilities that we have? All that we will take here, including preference share capital, your debentures or the current liability or non-current liability. All that we consider it as a external liability. So how do we calculate net asset? It is your total asset minus external liability. So your external liability here means it is the preference shares, debentures or loan or any kind of current liability. All that we will take it under external liability. So this is the one valuation approach based on net asset. So second approach that we have, it is the earnings approach. So usually earnings approach, what happens? They are based on EPS. So the earning per share of both the company, including the acquiring company as well as the target company. By considering their EPS, the exchange ratio will be calculated. So here it involves the EPS, that is earning per share, to establish the exchange ratio. So the formula that we use to calculate exchange ratio based on EPS, simple, your exchange ratio is equal to EPS of target company, then EPS of acquiring company. So the EPS calculation simple, that is profit available to equity shareholders. So that means your profit after tax divided by number of equity shares, that we will get the exchange ratio. So here under earning approach, we will use the EPS to calculate the exchange rate. The EPS of target company divided by EPS of acquiring company, we will get the exchange ratio. Next, third approach that we have, it is the market value approach or the market price approach. So here the market value approach considers the market price of both the acquiring and the target companies. Under market value approach, what happens? What is the market price of target company and what is the market price of acquiring company? These two that will be considered or that will be used to calculate the exchange rate. So the formula, exchange rate is equal to the market price of target company divided by market price of acquiring company. So we will get the exchange rate. So sometimes in the question, you will not have the market price. In that case, they will give the PE ratio directly. So how do we find out the market price? So the market price is equal to PE ratio into EPS. We will get the market price of both the company. So these are the important approach that is used to calculate the exchange ratio of the companies when they go for acquisitions or when they go for merging. So this is all about the today's session. Important, the merging, the types of merger, and important two calculations that we have. It is the price earning ratio and the exchange ratio. In the next sessions, we are going to solve the problem under these, how to calculate the PE ratio and how to calculate the exchange ratio. So this is all about the today's sessions, and we all meet in the next session where we are going to solve the problems under merger and acquisitions. So thank you.